Back in the day, VHS, all 3 parts came in the one feature length video cassette entitled Arrival from Cybertron. So there we go. Right, once again, before we start this video, I apologise for the sounds outside the studio. I really need to set up somewhere where there's less traffic passing by. I'm old enough to remember the original series of Transformers being on television, and just to prove how flippin' old I am, check this out. The first 3 episodes in the DVD box set are pretty much like a feature-length opener pilot to the series, 3-parter. But back in the day, the first 3 episodes are called what are they called? More Than Meets the Eye, Part 1, 2 and 3. Back in the day, VHS, all 3 parts came in the one feature length video cassette entitled Arrival from Cybertron. So there we go. That is 1985. This here little video cassette is, and here we go. There is the cassette itself. I'm just curious now that I've opened it, what condition is the tip in? The tip actually looks to be in amazing condition. Look at that there. For a video as old as this, pretty flawless. But anyway, we're going to get on to the 3-parter, and I'm just going to perhaps, maybe, back to back over the next 2 or 3 days. I might actually do the entirety of season 1 of Transformers. So we start off with More Than Meets the Eye, Part 1. Opens up with a voiceover intro. You see Cybertron. It gives you the backstory of like millions of years ago. There was 2 races of robot beings that lived on this planet. There was a war that just ravaged everything, and over the course of the war, the once rich sources of energy of the planet Cybertron were completely wiped out. And this is where we open up at. And the pilot episode of the Transformers, the first Transformers we see in this, is Bumblebee and another guy called Wheeljack. They're out trying to find any energy they can. They found like a few energy conductors, just enough they can carry in their hands. Bumblebee has always been like a central character in Transformers. Way back in Generation 1, he was which is why they used him in the live action movie as the first one you meet. Of course, he meets Shia LaBeouf's character and they bond and whatnot, and he's kind of like the stepping stone between the humans and the Transformers. But the majority of this opening episode, Part 1, we're on Cybertron for the better part of it. You see the planet pretty much in a decaying state. Bumblebee and Wheeljack, they're out searching for this stuff. They find what they can. They're going to head back to Autobot headquarters, which is the main city on Cybertron. Autobot base is called Awakens, so they're heading back there, but they get intercepted by Decepticons, and there is a bit of a fight. They kind of face them off, but they manage to escape, break through. And it was interesting for me to go back to this first episode originally, because a lot of the episodes on British television, in all fairness, I might have missed a few of the first ones, but for the longest time there, if you go and buy box sets and stuff, generally I find you come across episodes that were never aired. And if they were aired, it was probably at a ridiculous time of the day. But personally, I didn't see this 3-parter until I got that VHS. But I digress. We're coming out of this here. Wheeljack Bumblebee escape. They get back to Iacon as they go in there. Soundwave is outside, and you know, he's got a transformation where he's kind of like a statue. He kind of blends into the outer workings of Iacon. So he's there. In Generation 1, he was like a tape deck. So he had this button on his shoulder, and he'd press it, and he had this square on his chest that would flip forward, and a cassette tape would fly out, and it would transform into different things. So there's a little bird type of robot called Laserbeak. He sends him out to go and spy. This is Soundwave's job, and the Transformers is like the spy for the Decepticons. So he sends him off. We discover what the Autobots' plan is. They're going to leave Cybertron to search for more energy to help bring the planet back into its original state. So he goes back. We see Megatron for the first time. Soundwave, he reports what's happening. The Autobots, they're ready to launch their ship. Megatron's like, right, we're going to go too. And if there is another source of energy to be found, the Decepticons have to find it first. It's an energy race, essentially. Season 1 of Transformers. We do get to see Starscream kind of giving Megatron a few digs as far as Megatron's leadership role as that as a running thing, and the Transformers continuity, not just through the season 1, but like even reboots further on down the line. Starscream was always two-faced little git that wanted to take control from Megatron. So we get to see that in this opening episode. We cut back over to the Autobots. Their ship's ready to launch. They take off, they leave Cybertron, they're going up into space. The Decepticons launch their ship. As they're leaving the planet's atmosphere, there's 2 asteroids on a collision course explode in the flight path of the Ark, the Autobot ship. And you know, it just leaves basically an asteroid field of rocks, and both ships are getting battered. But the Autobots, they manage to hit their laser gun, cut a path through it. The Decepticons kind of get into their wake and get through the storm. But then the Autobots actually see the ship, and then there's a whole sequence where Megatron's ship connects up to the Autobot ship. They actually get onto the Autobot ship, and then there's a battle sequence between the Autobots and the Decepticons in space, during which the Autobot ship loses control. It breaks off from the magnetic junction between it and the Decepticon ship. The Decepticon ship is lost in space, never to be found. The Autobot ship careers out of control. There's a planet, nosedives into it, and straight into a mountain, explodes. We cut to 4 million years later, and the Decepticons and the Autobots both have been pretty much in like a stasis, kind of like a stasis form. It's not, they're dead, like they are broken, they're in pieces, but I think there's like I never really properly explained it in the cartoon. It did go into a little bit of detail in the comic books, if I recall properly. Like there's a stasis mode that they'll go into close to death, and this is where they've been at for 4 million years. So this brings them up to present day Earth, and the mountain they've crashed into is a volcano. The volcano erupts, and the energy from that kickstarts the Ark's computers, and first thing it does is, you know, when the Transformers go to a different planet, they'll assume disguises to blend in on that planet. So the Ark's computer launches a probe out that go and look for different forms, and the nearest Transformer he can find just happens to be a Decepticon. So it's, I do believe, and I'm trying to recall names from memory for a lot of them, because you know there's a lot of characters in this series that you will see for quite a few episodes before you actually hear a name for them. But I believe it's Thundercracker is the first one to be awakened by Teletran 1, the Autobot computer, but that's making no distinction between Autobot and Decepticon. It's just repairing robots at this stage. So he gets fixed, woken up, he revives the rest of the Decepticons, and they disappear off, leaving the Autobots lifeless. But as they're leaving, of course, Starscream has to be a tit about everything, so he fires a few shots at the Ark, and that's enough to knock the lifeless body of Optimus Prime over. This kickstarts the process of Teletran 1 reviving the Autobots then. So yes, we find out the Decepticons' plan. Like, they know there's a huge amount of time has passed, but Megatron is more or less, their mission hasn't changed. They still need to find energy to revive Cybertron, and Earth is ready for the plucking. They're just going to go and take what they need, build a new ship, go back to Cybertron and conquer the universe from there. After the Autobots are revived, Hound is sent out along with Cliffjumper to spy, see what the Decepticons are doing, and they find them building a new command base and talking about making plans for a new space cruiser and going chasing energy. Cliffjumper had been completely impulsive. He decides, he pulls a gun on Megatron. Their mission was to simply just go and find out what was happening, but he takes a shot at Megatron. Megatron commands Laserbeak, sent out by Soundwave. Laserbeak goes, nails Hound, and returns to base, pretty much. So the Autobots get them pair back, and they figure out from their report that Megatron is going to go and attack an oil rig out in the ocean. So we cut to that. Next day we see a lot of two of the human characters that the Autobots are going to be interacting with right through seasons 1 to 4 are going to be Spike and Sparkplug are their names. Witwicky is the second name. That was kept for the live action movies, Witwicky, the surname, but he was always Spike in the original cartoon. I do believe the name Sam Witwicky that they used in the live action movies came from the comic books. But anyway, we get to the oil rig. Megatron and the Decepticons attack. They start making what they call energon cubes. So there's the idea of the Allspark from the live action movie was taken from these cubes from the original series that contain energy that they collect up to take the power, whatever they need. So the Autobots attack and try and stop the Decepticons from taking the energy from this, and we get a slight altercation between Megatron and Optimus Prime for the first time, but it's nothing major at this point. There's a lot of humans on this oil rig, so Prime and the Autobots are more worried about them getting hurt in the fight. So Megatron has got the energy he needs from the oil rig, so he calls a retreat for the Decepticons. They all take off, left their energon cubes and whatnot. He takes out the support legs of the oil rig, and of course that falls over into the ocean. There's humans trapped inside of bits of metal and stuff, and Autobots alike, all trapped. That's where the opening episode of Transformers season 1 started. And yes, so that's it. They've came to Earth. Megatron has started his assault to steal energy, and we're set up with the Autobots being the good guys trying to stop the Decepticons from ravaging Earth. So yes, that's pretty much it for the first episode. This is quite a long video, that's why I didn't want to do all 3 parts and the one. I'll do them individually. But if you're like me and you remember the series, you'll have fond memories of it, and it just done me the world of good today to sit down, chill out in front of the TV and watch a few of the episodes of this series. Absolutely love this show. Guys, thank you so much for checking out the video. Please hit that subscription button and don't forget to press that bell icon to be notified of future uploads. Please get into the description box below this video and check